and we were doing highway safety analysis. What we have done up till now is, we're looking at the different strategies for highway safety. Okay, we looked at the process, and then we said how can you select a high crash location, and when you select the high crash location, you want to apply some countermeasures. Then how would you check before and after, okay, whether you have achieved a significant change or not. So today we will, and in the end of the last lecture, we saw how we can represent the accident information and the conditions of the site in the form of two diagrams, collision diagram and condition diagram respectively. So today we will look at two examples how we can use these two diagrams to come up with countermeasures. So when you are selecting countermeasures, you are basically trying to answer three things. First of all, on your site, find out what type of crash is more dominant. Okay, what type of crash is more dominant? Okay. For example, there was one example last time where the right angle crashes were more common, so they put a signal there for solving the problem of right angle crashes. So first of all, find out what crash type is more dominant, and then for that crash type, you answer these three questions, which you can see on the slide here. So the first question is, what was the last action of the driver that led to the accident? Okay, what was the driver doing as just before the accident? This is what we mean basically. What was the driver doing just before the accident? Okay, now this is just to know the condition of the driver in which the accident happened. We are not blaming the driver. Okay, there can be some valid reason for his action. We just want to know. Okay, so this is for our knowledge, not to put the blame on the driver. Keep it in mind. Okay, so whatever action he is doing, you have to select a countermeasure. You cannot say, okay, no, the driver was doing this thing, he shouldn't be doing this, so this is not my fault. This is still your responsibility as a traffic engineer to select the countermeasure. Okay. So the first question is, what was the last action of the driver before the accident? Second, what condition of the site made him take that action? What condition on the site made him take that action? For example, he was braking. Why was he braking? What was on the site which made him brake? He was accelerating. Why? He was turning. Why? Okay. So action, then the reason of that action for the site conditions. Then the third thing is, what changes you can make on the site to avoid that action. So basically what we are saying is, whatever action the driver was doing led to the accident. So if the driver was not doing that action, maybe the accident wouldn't happen. Okay, it's straightforward and simple, right? This action results in an accident. Make sure this action is not required by the driver. Okay, so the answer to the last question will give you the countermeasure, the changes. Okay, changes, corrective measures, countermeasures, treatments. Okay, so what are you supposed to do? Let us take a couple of examples, one from the book, one from Bahrain. Now you see this is the collision and the condition diagram for the same intersection, and we have discussed them one by one yesterday. So first of all, we need to find out which are the most common type of crashes. Now, if you look at this diagram, obviously this will come from the collision diagram. If you look at the collision diagram, on all sides of the intersection, you will see rear end accidents. There is two are here, then we have like 4 or 5 here, then there are many here, and then there are many here. Okay, so each side of the intersection has rear end accidents, rear end crashes. And then if you look within the intersection, okay, within the intersection or close to the intersection, then you would find many right angle accidents as well. So the two most common type of crashes here are rear end and right angle crashes. Okay, and again, this is very like prominent here. Okay, you don't have to analyze very deeply here. Okay, because the others are very few. You have one side swipe, one with pedestrian, okay, which is the other angle. There's one here. The rest of them are all right angle or rear end. Okay, this is very, very simple. Now let us take them one by one and we will answer the three questions which we had. First of all, taking the rear end accident. Why does a rear end accident happen? A rear end accident happens when the driver in front of you brakes unexpectedly. So you didn't have the chance to keep a clear distance between you and him, and that's why the accident happened. Okay. So this is the first question. This is the answer to the first question. Rear end accident happened because the driver in front of you stopped unexpectedly. Okay. So you couldn't stop yourself from bumping into him. What conditions on the side can lead to rear end accident? One of the reason can be the side distance to the signal. Maybe the driver in front of you didn't see the signal until he was very close, and at that time he had to apply the brakes in emergency. Okay. Now, what could be the possible reasons of not having enough side distance for the signal? You can see there may be some roadside obstructions. For example, you can see some trees here. You can see this corner of the building. Okay, so you can see this corner of the building here. Okay. One more reason for obstructing your line of sight can be these exits which are from the parking areas. So in I think three sides you can see some exits from the parking areas. You have from here, this is from the stores here, this is from another store here, and again there's a gas station here, so maybe somebody is coming out on this side as well. Okay. So these vehicles may be blocking your line of sight. If trucks and buses are coming, for example, from any side, they may be blocking your view. Okay, or they may be coming out suddenly in front of you. Maybe the signal is green, but these guys come out suddenly. Okay, and maybe you and these guys do not have the proper view of the signal. Right? It makes sense, right? People who are coming out of the parking areas, maybe they don't have a proper view of the signal, and you are causing the rear end crashes with them. Okay, so in any case, maybe they are blocking your view. Maybe they are themselves causing the rear end accident because they cannot see the signal properly until they come out. Okay, or maybe they are coming out when the signal is green because they want to go themselves. Okay, so in any case, they may be causing the blockage of the side distance as well, or they may be having the problem with the side distance. Another reason can be you can see the stop lines. Okay, so the stop lines are mentioned on every side. You see the stop line on this side, the north side, let's say, Hyde Park Road. The stop line is close to the edge of the intersection where it should be. Okay, this is where it should be. But if you look at the other three sides, the stop lines are far from the intersection. They are well behind the intersection. Okay. Now, obviously, you are coming towards an intersection. What do you expect? You expect the driver in front of you to stop at the intersection. But that poor guy looks at the stop line. He wants to stop there. Okay. So maybe this is causing the accident. Okay, so you think that this is the guy who has nobody in front of him. He should be going towards the intersection itself before he stops, and he is stopping before at the stop line because there's a stop line before the intersection. Okay, behind the intersection. Now, why the stop lines are behind the intersection? Again, the reason is these exits. The stop lines are behind the intersection to facilitate the people who are coming from the parking areas. So they can come to this area and the people are stopping behind them. Okay, and if you just imagine, okay, or if you just think about it, this doesn't make any sense. You are giving priority to the guy who's coming out from the parking area. He will stand in front of the queue. Okay, it doesn't make any sense, right? The guy who is on the road, he's going straight, he should have the priority. The guy coming out from the parking area, he should be waiting. But for that guy who's already on the signal, you are stopping him behind the exit. Okay, so he is giving way to the parking area. Obviously, when the signal is red, he is giving way to the parking area. This doesn't make sense even from the rules of the prioritization. We studied about channelization in highway engineering as well. So this doesn't make sense any sense from that point of view as well. Okay, so these two can be the reasons: the position of the stop line and the sight distance to the signal. Now, what can we do to make sure that these two problems can be solved? For sight distance to the signal, you can remove these trees from here. You can make sure you can put the corner of the building back slightly. You can make sure you can make the signals higher. Okay, obviously these are just suggestions. You may do one or some of them. You don't have to do all of them. Okay, you may make the signals higher, so sight distance will be more. You can shift the stop lines closer. Okay, so the driver will have more time before he has to stop. Okay, so he is trying to stop here, so he has less time. If you give him more time, maybe he will stop safely. Okay, and but moving the stop line closer would also mean you should maybe close these exits from the parking areas. Okay, and closing the exits from the parking area will also take care of something else, which is the blocking of the line of sight from these people who are coming out, or having rear end accidents because of these people who are coming out of the parking areas. Okay, so shifting the line of sight would require closing the exits mainly. And if you close the exits, then maybe you will solve the problem of the sight distance as well. Obviously, you will, because you are giving more time to the driver. There's nobody coming out from near the stop line, and moving the stop line closer to the signal means you are giving more time to the driver. Okay. So these are some of the suggestions which may solve the problem of sight distance and stop lines. Then the other type of accident, common accidents, are right angle accidents. Now, why right angle accidents happen? Right angle accidents happen because there's a driver already in the intersection and some other driver has the green at that time. Okay, this is why right angle accidents happen. See this. This driver, let's say, is already in the intersection and this driver receives the green. So he has to come. When he comes, he finds this driver and they have a right angle accident. Okay, this is a common thing in all of them. Now, what can make one driver to enter the intersection where there's already somebody there? I already gave the answer. The answer is he has the green. Now, why should that driver have the green when there's somebody already in the intersection? Now, what do we provide the driver who is in the intersection to clear it? We provide all red interval, right? If you remember, clearance interval or all red interval. So maybe the all red interval is not enough for the driver to clear the intersection, and the other signal is becoming green before this driver leaves. So we are assuming that the driver entered the intersection when the signal was yellow, and then he hit the green. Then the signal became red. Okay, and before he could clear the intersection, the all red also ended. Okay, so maybe the all red is not enough. Okay, now what could be the reasons that all red is not enough? If you go to the equation of all red time, we have an equation in the last chapter, we saw it. If you look at that equation, we were using the dimension of the intersection, the p value and the w, and p and w depends upon the dimension of the intersection. Maybe the design engineer who was calculating all red, he took the actual dimension of the intersection, so he thought that the stop line is here where it should be, but in reality the stop line is behind the intersection. So maybe he did not account for this extra distance. So his calculated all red interval is not enough. Okay. Second, so one reason could be not having enough all red interval, and that could be because of the actual position of the stop line, which may not have been taken into account at the time of calculation. Second reason could be people who are again coming out from the parking areas. Okay, so they may be coming out when the signal is about to turn red, so they cross during yellow, and since they are coming out, they are slower. Again, we were using the speed as well. If you remember, we were using the speed as well. So maybe we do not account for their speed. Okay, so they come out during yellow, they are the first one to go. So maybe they are having the right angle accident. And as I said, these people do not have a proper view of the signal as well. So they come out and then they see the signal is yellow and then they decide to go. So their speed is very low and their decision time may be longer. Okay. So people who are coming out from the parking area may be causing these accidents because they do not have a proper view. Okay. And they are slower than other drivers, so they are taking more time to clear the intersection, which is not taken into account at the time of clearance interval. So what can we do to avoid this? Again, one thing is we said clearance time is not enough. Extend the clearance time, recalculate the clearance time, and see what you require. Okay. Second thing is clearance time is not enough because of two reasons. One reason is stop line is behind the intersection, so you make the stop line closer to the intersection, and that would require closing the exits, right? That would require closing the exits. So maybe when you shift the stop line to the actual intersection, the edge of the intersection, the clearance interval in that case may become enough. Okay. And for, as I said, for shifting the stop line closer to the intersection, you have to block the exits. Now, if you block the exits, then you can shift the stop line closer, and you also solve the problem of people who are coming out from here, the slow drivers which may be causing these accidents. Okay, so closing the exits may solve both of your problems. It will shift the stop line closer, giving more time to the straight drivers, and it will also solve the problem of drivers who may be slower than other drivers and taking more clearance time. Okay, so in that case, you may not have to increase your clearance interval. Okay, now, so for this intersection, we discussed rear end as well as right angle. In both cases, you saw the reasons of accidents included the position of the stop line and these exits. So if you want to decrease both type of accidents, the more convenient solution seems to be block these exits, make them from somewhere else. So they may be coming out from this side or from some other side, or maybe behind the intersection or somewhere like that. Okay, so block these exits and shift the stop lines closer from wherever you can. So it will solve the problem. It seems to be solving the problem of rear end as well as right angle crashes. And like I said, you cannot be sure even after you select any change and you make the countermeasure. You have to do a before and after study. Okay, so this is just on the basis of our judgment. Now let us take an example from Bahrain. This is the intersection between Al Fateh Highway and King Faisal Highway, the one near the avenues. Okay, but the data, you can see a collision diagram here. This collision diagram is made using 4 years of data, I think 2013 to 17. Okay, it was made by a senior design group students. It is made by a senior design group, you can see they just put numbers here. Okay, they didn't put the date or the time, they just put numbers here. And they have mentioned what type of common crashes we have. Okay, so there are basically 4. Rear end, which is very low, I think less than 10% or around 10%. Reckless turning are the highest one. Reckless turning are these ones. See these ones? These are what they are calling as reckless turning. These, this one, these two. So reckless turning is basically what we said as other angles, other angle crashes. Okay, so these are other angle crashes which are the highest in that intersection, and the other one is right angle. And we already discussed right angle. You can see right angle crashes. Okay, even if this pie chart was not here, you can actually see these are the most common ones, right? Like you don't need to. I don't need to tell you that which are the most common crashes. Okay, you can see it. Okay, so we will try to solve the 2 most common ones, which are reckless turning and right angle. Okay, you can take the rear end as well if you want. Okay, there's no problem with that. And this is a condition diagram. Okay, as I said, this is made by a student. Okay, so they have not included all the details, the details which you saw in the previous condition diagram. Okay, so this is like of a lower level. Okay, but it's still a good effort by the students. Okay, so you can see the lanes, you can see the turning movements, you can see the placement of the signals. Okay, and so on. Now let us take each case. We start with right angle turning, right angle crashes, because we have already discussed them in the previous example as well. So right angle crashes are these, and they happen, we know the reason, two drivers entering the intersection at the same time, or one driver entering the intersection or receiving the green when the other driver has not left the intersection, and we know the reason. The reason is not having enough clearance time. Why don't they have enough clearance time? You can see the geometry of the intersection. First of all, the intersection is very wide. Okay, so they may be using some standard or some recommended clearance time. They may need to recalculate it, or they may not be taken into account this type of one. You can see here, this guy who's coming from here is very close to this side. Okay, so he is in the end of his movement, like he's about to cross, but he is, still yet to cross the other side. He is not fully clear from the other side. So maybe he is at the end of his clearance time, and this guy has the green, and he comes out. Okay, so you see the geometry of this intersection from all sides. It is happening in the same manner. Okay, you go to the end, and then you are crossing the other lane. So maybe if these lanes were here, okay, he would need less time to clear the lanes. Okay, so maybe even if the signal became green, this guy would have already cleared the conflicting lanes, the lanes from where the other drivers can come. Okay, so but basically the thing is, as I said, if you can play with the geometry of the intersection, then you can place the lanes closer to each other, so the intersection will be narrower and you will need less clearance time. So the provided clearance time may become enough. But in this case, if you cannot change the geometry of the intersection, then you have to extend the clearance time. And if you go to this intersection now, you will see blinking green. Okay, and it has been adopted on other intersections as well. So this is the reason. Blinking green is to give you more time. Okay, so you decide earlier whether you want to stop or not, and in that case, clearance time may not be required. Okay, so this is the reason. This is what we can do. We play with the geometry of the intersection, make it narrower, or you can increase the clearance time. Then reckless turning. Reckless turning is, as I said, other angle crashes. Now you can see these are other angle crashes. This one, which are happening from the opposing direction, and there are some other angle crashes which are happening in the same direction. For example, this one, this one, this one. Okay, so we need to take care of both of them because both of them are other angle accidents. Okay, they did not differentiate between them. Let me take the one which is the easier one. Other angle crashes which are happening in the same direction. So this mainly happens when the driver is trying to change his lane. Okay. Now, why the driver may be trying to change the lane? Maybe he feels he's in the wrong lane and he needs to change the lane near the intersection, near the signal. He realizes he's in the wrong lane. He's trying to change the lane. Okay. So these type of accidents, which you can see on at least 3 sides here. Okay. Which are happening because of that. Now, what can we do to make sure the driver cannot change the lane near the intersection or does not change the lane near the intersection? You put maybe you can put a traffic island there. Okay, which is what they have done already for separating the left turn lanes from the straight lanes. So even if the driver is in the wrong lane, now he cannot change the lane. He will go through, he will take the turn from somewhere else safely, and he will come back and go wherever he wants. Okay. Second thing, again, what they have done, because the data is from the past, so they have, alhamdulillah, taken all the measures which they required. So you can make sure the driver knows in which lane he should be. So you can put lane markings with arrows there. Okay, and you can put, so they have the signboards there now. So signboard is indicating if you want to go to this area, you should be in this lane. If you want to go to this area, you should be in this lane. Okay, so they have put more control devices there with markings and signs to make sure the driver knows in which lane he should be. So this is for avoiding the other angle accidents from the same direction. For the other direction, why the rear and other angle accidents happen? So you can see other angle accidents are happening between a straight driver and a driver who's trying to turn left. Okay, so other angle accidents are happening because of the turning movements, the left turning movements, and they are happening in all directions. Now, maybe So that means the clearance time is not enough for turning movements then, because obviously this left turn will not happen if this driver has the green, right? So one of them entered the intersection during red time. Sorry, one of them was in the intersection when the other guy had the green time. So maybe the turning movement didn't have enough all that time. Okay, now why this could be? Maybe we discussed about the equivalency factor in the previous chapter. So you need to account for the equivalency factor when you are giving a phase for the turning movement. Okay, you have to multiply with the equivalency factor, so you will have a higher time. So maybe they did not use the equivalency factors in this case. So the time which they should have given to the turning movement is not taking into account the extra time they require for turning. Secondly, maybe they do not have separate phases for turning movements, and which is making them slower than the through vehicles. When we were discussing the phasing diagram or the principles of phasing in the last chapter, I told you if you give separate phases and separate lanes to left turning movements, their flow and speed is higher. So maybe at that time when the accidents were happening, there was no separate phase for turning movements, which was making them slower, and that's why they required more clearance time. Okay, so the clearance time may not be enough because they did not take into account the extra time required normally by the turning vehicles, or it may not be enough because the turning vehicles are going along with the through vehicles, and they're going from the same phase, from the same lanes, and they are taking more time and less speed. Okay, so what can we do again to solve this problem? First of all, you can provide a separate phase there. Okay, you can check the clearance time which you are providing for the turning. Okay, and make sure that you have enough clearance for the turning as well, for the turning movement as well. Okay, if not, maybe you can shift to a different phase. Okay, you can give separate phases turning movement, so they will need less clearance time, or we extend the clearance time for all the movements. Okay, one more recommendation which was given by those students who did this project was to put red light violation cameras. Okay, cameras on the signal, and this is, this makes sense because the only way we obey the laws is if somebody is watching us. Okay, and the thing is, there's always someone watching us. There is always one being who is always watching us. Okay, so we need to think about that. Anyways, so this was the recommendation from the students. So this is the end. Okay, let me give you a tentative guideline for the exams. Okay, so in exams you will have 10 MCQs, 10 true and false, 2 short questions, and 4 numericals. It's a 2-hour exam. It's on 9th of January, 2:30 p.m. Okay, date and time you can recheck it from the registration. Okay, I'm just telling you because some student told me that. So for 10 MCQs you need 10 minutes. For 10 true and false you need 10 minutes. For 2 short questions you need 10 minutes. Okay, then 4 numericals means 15 minutes each. So in the end you will have like 15-20 minutes to upload your answers. Okay, it will be on Blackboard. Okay, like I said, there's still a meeting left tomorrow, after which I can tell you exactly how it is supposed to be. Okay, but this is a tentative guideline. Theory, obviously, the theory or anything related to theory, or like what we have just done now, anything related to case studies or something, it will be the part of the first 3 items: MCQs, true and false, and short questions. Okay. For the theory, I will include the theory after test 2. Okay, I will include the theory after test 2. Okay, numericals from all chapters, theory after test 2. Okay. Okay, I'm going for the attendance now. Okay, Dua Rabi, Amna Muhammad, Muhammad Usama, Amal Abdullah. Dua Rabi, but just before the attendance, let me apologize first. I have taken, extra time on many occasions. Okay, so whatever inconvenience I caused during the course because of this or because of any other my actions in the quiz and the test or whatever, I apologize for that. And you have been good students. You haven't bothered me much. Okay, but except for the quiz times when you become mad and insane, and I understand that. But apart from that, you haven't caused me much trouble. So thank you for that, and sorry for everything, any inconvenience caused from my side. Okay, so going back, Dua Rabi, Amna Muhammad, Muhammad Usama, Amal Abdullah. Osama and Amal. Muhammad Numan, Ali Muhammad, Hakim Ali, Zahra Saeed. Muhammad Numan, Ali Muhammad, Hakim Ali, Zahra Saeed. Fawaz Adil, Abdullah Jaliluddin, Nujuz Salah. Fawaz Adil, Abdullah Jaliluddin, Nujuz Salah. Nadine Hussam, Zahra Riyad, Abu Bakr Ghani, Zainab Ali Ahmad. Nadine Hussam, Zahra Riyad, Abu Bakr Ghani, Zainab Ali Ahmad. Ulwa Ibrahim, Mariam Abdul Amir, Masht Bashar, Asil Hassan. Ulwa Ibrahim, Mariam Abdul Amir, Masht Bashar, Asil Hassan. Ali Mustafa, Hamad Khalid, Abdullah Usamuddin. Ali Mustafa, Hamad Khalid, Abdullah Usamuddin. Latifa Ahmad, Fatma Abdali, Zainab Abdali, Zainab Abdulal. Latifa Ahmad, Fatma Abdali, Zainab Abdali, Zainab Abdulal. Ala Salman, Isra Abdul Karim, Ali Abdul Razak, Elizabeth N. Ala Salman, Isra Abdul Karim, Ali Abdul Razak, Elizabeth N. Ali Makki and Ibrahim Muhammad. Ali Makki and Ibrahim Muhammad. Okay, people from section 1. People from section 1. Okay, before you leave, I wish you all the best for all your exams. Okay, may you do well in all of them. Okay, especially traffic. Okay, and who is Dana Isa? Okay, Zahra Riyad. From the other section. Okay, who else from this section 1? Anybody else from section 1? Okay, thank you. Zara, I will mark you if I haven't marked you already. Mark you. You can leave if you want. Okay, thank you. All the best. See you guys. I don't know when. But anyways, be happy. Assalamu alaikum.